one of the brilliant things that the left does is they repackage words. It's clearly not feminism anymore. It's designed to actually rip apart women and men.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the comments. We're going to be going over Candace Owens versus a college student on feminism, whether it's good or bad for society, and we're able to see rather consistently that Candace Owens has more information than a college student, but she really packs it in with the amount of knowledge that she's brought to bear, from the amount of harm that it's done to women as a whole, to the racist origins, to very origins being the separation of the family and the destruction of the family unit. So, from what we've been able to see from the creation of MGTOW, the hatred between men and women, the controversies with that Me Too movement, the amount of chivalrous and gentlemen's actions that were destroyed that left women far less safe, the destruction of families as a whole, leaving society more and more clustered and destructive. In my opinion, it had some good things, had some bad, but we're going to end up seeing exactly why here. So stay tuned.
Hi.
Hi, I had an honest question for you
Yeah, no worries.
because I feel like your grandfather's story is very inspiring. But you say that people complain so much. But if people didn't complain in those days and fight for people's rights and fight for feminism, which is just equality for women, then you wouldn't be on the stage today and I wouldn't be here asking you this question. And so if people aren't complaining, as you say, and fighting for rights, then nothing would happen. So how can you reconcile these differences?
Yeah, so first I want to say I understand your sentiment, because when I was your age, I thought the same thing, that feminism is just about equality. One of the brilliant things that the left does is they repackage words. It's clearly not feminism anymore. It's designed to actually rip apart women and men, to make women paranoid about men all the time, and every industry is controlled by a man, and to make being on your own, I want to do all by myself, aspirational, right? It's about all my single ladies who needs a man. So just because you're using the word feminism, it doesn't mean that it is feminism, right? And as best evidenced by the fact that they just keep using it when obviously we are on equal footing with men. And unless you can tell me what you're not allowed to do as a woman in society that men are allowed to do, right? That would be like a systemic problem that we would need to fix. And so also I want to just remind you that I said earlier that you don't know true history, and when you wake up to the evils of feminism, they were fixated on breaking up the family. They liked death, right? They were creating a cult of death and destruction everywhere, all across the world. And just to be clear, the earliest iteration of a feminist that you're talking about that you deem to be heroic would be Margaret Sanger. That's a first wave feminist, and she hated me, so I feel nothing towards those feminists. And when I look around and I see women who are now crying on TikTok, and they don't understand, they did everything they were supposed to do, and I actually empathize and sympathize with them, and then suddenly they're in the world and they're making $25,000 a year, and they can't do bad all by themselves, single ladies, and actually their bodies start coming online, and their biology starts coming online, and they actually want to get married and have children, and they're realizing that they've stepped into a design that they were promised was going to be, as you hear, it's just going to be great, it's all going to be amazing, and it actually isn't that amazing. I don't know why. What are we even fighting anymore? Men holding doors? That's the new feminist cause? Like, no, equality means don't hold the door. No, I like when men pay for my meals. Love when my husband pays for my meals when we're recording. I like having the door held for me. In a perfect world, our society was so much better when women were involved every single day with their children before we handed them over to the Department of Education. And so I do not see feminism as having accomplished anything in our society. I actually think it was a nightmare that is being repackaged in our textbooks. So I would implore you to just do a little more research and start with Emma Goldman.
So that's the end of the clip that we have right now. We're able to see that from what she said about Emma Goldman, the origins of feminism, racist roots, its destruction of family roots, and the amount of destruction that it's created now, the amount of harm, and just how they don't have any reasoning for it. Like, everything is feminist nowadays. Going against men holding doors, as she had said, is anti-feminist, or is feminist nowadays. Doing it is anti-feminist. It's anti-women. And a lot of women are trying to bounce back on that. A lot of women are pushing that to the side. We've seen it with, as she had spoke about, I'll go a little more in depth, the girls that you'll see on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube shorts of their supposed get it girl mentality that completely collapsed. That have to work 9 to 5. They barely make 25,000. They have to cook and clean for themselves. They have to do all of this that women had to do before chivalry because men weren't marrying as much. They were still marrying en masse, but they weren't marrying as much. And these women didn't understand that. And now we've returned to a time before chivalry, a time where people don't want to marry, a time when men and women are at each other's throats. It's a horrible sensation. It's a situation. Sorry, I missed that. But we're able to see that with men and women growing closer and closer to each other, we can rebuild it. We just have to work hard. And I believe that's something we can do. I truly do. I truly believe it's something we will be able to accomplish. So please do stay tuned, like, subscribe, and if you enjoyed the content, hit that bell and stay with us.